Hey guys, Sydney here. Just wanted to pop on real quick. I have maybe a timely thing I just wanted to share with you guys. Happy New Year if you're watching this in close to real time. Tomorrow is New Year's Day and it starts a new year, and in this case, a new decade. And so I know a lot of people are trying to get a fresh start, which I encourage. I am a proponent of that. But something that can happen when we get depressed or anxious is we can get overwhelmed and maybe have a hard time focusing and getting things done. Now, some people have a hard time doing that anyways. But something that can really help if this is a newer thing is maybe a planner. And so, I just want to talk about different kinds of planners and what I get asked a lot, what I recommend. And so I think the answer is it depends. It depends on what you need the planner for. Are you looking for like something to put your to-do list in? Are you looking for like a family calendar so that everything is in one spot? Do you just need the monthly? Do you need it broken down hourly? Do you just need each day with a little bit of space? Do you need a lot of space? What are you looking for? Are you looking for something just for work, something just for your personal life? So it depends on what you want. A common thing in the couples work that I do is a dry erase calendar. So a lot of times it's as a couple or as a family, we're trying to keep track of things, set goals maybe. So I think a dry erase calendar is great for that. You start fresh every month, you all sit down, you talk about what are your goals for this month that you want to accomplish as a couple or as a family. So that's one that has come in handy several times. The other thing, so for me, what I use for 2019 at least, I did like an all-in-one planner. I wanted something that did work, personal life, spiritual life, physical activity. I wanted it all in one place. So I ended up with this gigantic planner, humongous. And it literally has everything in it. Some people want one maybe just for work. A very common question I get is, yeah, but what about my electronic calendar? I just have everything on my phone. If that helps and that keeps you going, perfect. I will say though, the studies show when you write things down, like pen to paper, not typing with your thumbs, but pen to paper, your chances of remembering things increase exponentially compared to just typing it. A funny story, I tell this often too. When I was younger, before we had smartphones and maps just at our fingertips, when I was writing down directions to go to someone's house, I'd write it down and then it never failed. I'd forget to take the piece of paper with me, but I always seemed to still get there. And that's because I literally, by taking the time to write down the directions, it would get into my mind. Now, I don't do that 100% of the time. There's plenty of times I've had a grocery list and I have forgotten a couple of things. So I do personally like having my grocery list on my phone. But it just helps when you write it down. So I do recommend that. But if the phone's working for you, don't change it. Now, after you figure out what you need your planner for, figure out what kind of planner do you like. So like I said, I like this one. I'll show you. It has these cool rings and this punch. See how it's open? And so I can make my own pages. I can move around the pages in here. And that's just because I have the hole punch. I got this, I want to say Staples. They have their own brand. This one happens to be Happy Planner. Y'all, this is not an ad. I am not getting paid to talk about any of these products, but just telling you where I got it. And so that's what I did last year. I have a monthly, and then I had a daily and a weekly, but then I also made my own little sheet for each week that had a place for me to put like the verse of the day, also like a little prayer section where I just write out a prayer, and then any observations for my daily Bible reading. So I made that myself. Now this year, I'll tell you, I'm going to try something different. That didn't work so great for me. I was not spending equal amounts of time in kind of each area. So this planner is actually smaller this year. And so I'm actually pulling some things out, and I've got a new journal to do my Bible stuff with. So I'm going to try this out. I'll let you know how it goes, but I'm going to have a separate thing. This will go just with my Bible reading plan, and I'm going to do all my journaling for that separately. The other thing that, if you've been in session with me, we've probably talked about it if you've talked about anxiety, is gratitude. So some people are just looking for a gratitude journal and maybe not a planner, or maybe you're looking for a way to do that. That's another thing you can do. This is another sheet that I made once upon a time before I found the planner that I'm using now. But where I just wrote in a place where I could put my daily gratitude. And again, these are those sheets that just pop in and out with the rings. This one is a different brand. It's not Happy Planner, but it's all the same idea. This one's from ARC at Staples. But I just made my own sheets. That works sometimes too. So it kind of depends. If you don't have the time, don't worry about it. Don't try and make your own. Go buy something. There is something out there. If you haven't searched online for planners, literally hundreds will flood your Facebook account, your Instagram, as soon as you do that, because there's so many different kinds of planners out there. There's some that are specific for achieving goals at work, that are some just for, I'm sure y'all have seen this, the teacher planners that have, like where you can put your lesson plans, is that what they're called, in them. There's spiritual planners, there's just inspirational planners, there's motivational planners, there's habit trackers. So just really try and think about, what are you looking for? Guarantee you can find something that has it, and if you can't, you can make it. So the other thing I want to kind of talk about while we're here is trackers and daily reminders. So something in kind of the self-help world that's really big right now are habit trackers. In fact, I've seen it in a lot of the professional planners as well, where if you don't, and this is just a business, it's not even a theory, it's real life, but if you don't track what you're doing, you don't know what you're doing. You don't know where you're going because you don't know where you've been. So a lot of the business planners are doing this, and it's starting to overflow into personal life. Now, the thing I usually start with is mood trackers. Some people call them mood diaries, but when someone comes to me and they're really feeling out of whack, not themselves, up and down, but it's kind of like when the doctor asks you, and you're like, I'm not sure. Like, well, today I'm feeling this way, but yesterday I wasn't feeling this good. I highly recommend people just writing it down. You could literally take I was looking around to see if I have one, a spiral bound notebook, write 1 through 31 for January, 29 for February. Make a rating system, 1 to 5, 1 to 10, whatever works for you, and rate your mood. Maybe make a note. Today I felt pretty happy because this happened, or today this happened and I was really down, or today was really up and down. I had great news and then I had bad news and then it ended okay. So you can keep track, because sometimes we don't remember everything that happened in a day, much less a week or a month. So it's hard to track where we're headed if we don't know where we've been, right? You gotta have a path. So I wanted to mention that for mood trackers. Habit trackers, super, like we talked about in business, that's happening more and more, where you are trying to keep track of something. Even my new Bible journal has a little bit of a habit tracker in there too. So I can't wait to see how that works. So with habit trackers, for me, that's where I incorporate my physicality. So, am I getting 30 minutes of exercise every day? Am I drinking my 64 ounces of water every day? Am I not eating after 8 o'clock at night? I just try and it gives me a little bit of accountability, and it helps me stay on track, right? If I see that for 5 nights in a row, I didn't do something, it gives me a chance to check in with myself and go, what's going on? Or if every Tuesday night I am, eating after 8 o'clock, okay, what is it about Tuesdays? Well, I can tell you it's the night that I work late. So, I know that about myself, but, it helps you start to look for trends. Now, I happen to use one, I don't know if I brought it. Aha. Here's one that I'm going to be using in January. And so this one just has 10 things for me to track. And so, gratitude. Am I doing my gratitude work every day? What else? Am I, am I putting up laundry when there's laundry? I have a bad tendency of letting laundry sit in baskets for a couple of days. So that's something I'm trying to be more accountable to. So I highly recommend habit trackers. Also, they can be used to reward yourself, right? I am one of those people who have a hard time doing super long-term goals because I will get frustrated if I don't feel like I'm making progress. And so I need kind of smaller goals or goals in pieces. And I have to be able to reward myself kind of as I go, as I'm making progress, so that I'll keep going. So that's another good point of some kind of a habit tracker. Also, there's things you can track. I have a lot of women that use them to track their cycle just because it's out of whack, or they need to know, or they're trying to conceive, all of those things. So there's a lot of uses for trackers. Again, you can make your own in a spiral bound notebook, number the days. Bullet journals are really popular right now. They're just blank and they have like dots in them, and you literally just make bullet points in them. Whatever works for you. I think the biggest thing I see with people saying it doesn't work is they didn't try it, or they didn't try it for very long, and then they get frustrated and they're like, oh, this doesn't work. Well, sometimes it may not be the right fit for you, and that's okay. Sometimes you weren't consistent enough with it. So I encourage you to really work on making it part of your routine. Now that's hard because that talks about changing habits, either that you already have or creating new habits. But it's doable. It's completely doable. So before you throw away the baby with the bathwater, sit down and ask yourself, maybe if I'm doing this at night when I'm exhausted, maybe I should try a different time. Try in the morning. Try getting up 10, 15 minutes early and really spend a few minutes just going over your day. Maybe you need to pray through your calendar. Maybe that's the time that you get in the Word and really just connect to God. Whatever that is for you, try doing something a little different and seeing if you can get less overwhelmed. See if you can feel like you're a little bit more focused and on track. And then that way, if the anxiety starts to bubble up, but you already have this pattern and this habit that you're doing of whether it's getting up in the morning or whatever, but using your planner and using your trackers, then you already have that going for you, and you won't hopefully feel so lost. You can be like, oh, I already know what I need to do, and you can get back to that. That can kind of become an anchor point for you in your day, and not like that waking up with that impending doom or that anxiety feeling. And I didn't talk about it much, but again, gratitude for sure. Everyone should do gratitude work. It really does change. I'll do a whole nother episode on that at some point. But incorporate that into part of your day. I do recommend morning time if you can at all swing it. Night is not horrible because at least you're doing it. But it really helps you set your day and your intention to have that kind of an outlook and to just be grateful and be looking for those things. So anyways, I hope this has been helpful. My 2 cents on planners and organizers and what they can be used for and how you can utilize them. Hit me up if you have any questions. Feel free to share this with your friends or family that you feel like maybe need some tips on organizers and planners. And you guys have a great new year. Happy New Year. 2020 is going to be amazing. It will be what you make of it. And I just pray that you guys all have peace and joy and just an overflowing love for yourself and for others. Take care.